Welcome to Audiobook segment. Every story you'll hear is crafted from the ground up, written, produced, and narrated entirely by us. Nothing recycled, nothing repurposed, just original work made for this channel. So grab your headphones, settle in, and enjoy today's audiobook. Imagine waking up every morning with the mindset that today you will learn something new. Something that pushes you forward while most people around you are standing still. The truth is, most people stop learning after school or college. They fall into routines, repeat the same habits, and let years pass by without improving their mind or skills. But the people who rise above, the ones who succeed, are the ones who never stop learning. This audiobook is about building that daily habit of educating yourself. When you commit to learning every day, you start stacking small improvements that compound over time. It is not about being perfect or trying to know everything. It is about staying curious, hungry, and open to growth. If you do this consistently, you will move ahead of 99% of people who gave up on learning the moment they got comfortable. You are about to learn how to train your mind, how to grow smarter every single day, and how to apply knowledge to change your life. By the end, you will see that education is not just about books or school. It is about the choices you make daily, the conversations you have, the skills you practice, and the mindset you carry. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and stay connected so you do not miss more powerful lessons like this. This audiobook is designed to transform your perspective, keep you motivated, and help you create the kind of life you truly deserve. Now let us begin the journey of educating yourself every day and unlocking the power that will keep you far ahead of the average person. Chapter 1. Why daily learning matters more than ever. When you look at the world today, everything is changing faster than ever. Technology evolves, new industries appear, and old systems fade away. What was valuable 10 years ago might be irrelevant today. In this kind of world, the ability to keep learning is not just a nice habit, it is survival. If you do not continue to grow, you get left behind, and if you keep improving, even in small ways, you rise above the majority of people who are stuck in the past. Think about it. Most people stop actively learning once they finish school. They believe education ends with a diploma or degree. They enter the workforce, repeat the same tasks year after year, and wonder why life feels repetitive or stagnant. Their minds become dull because they stopped feeding it. But a sharp mind, like a strong muscle, needs daily exercise. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. The less you use it, the weaker it becomes. Daily learning matters because the mind grows with use. Each time you expose yourself to a new idea, challenge your perspective, or practice a new skill, you expand what you are capable. It may feel small in the moment, reading an article, listening to a lecture, watching an educational video, or practicing a language, but those moments add up. They accumulate like drops of water filling a bucket. One drop seems small, but over weeks, months, and years, the bucket overflows. The people you admire, the innovators, leaders, entrepreneurs, creators, are almost always obsessive learners. They understand that no matter how successful they become, there is always something new to discover. That hunger for knowledge is what separates them from everyone else. Imagine two people. One decides that school was enough and spends every evening watching random shows, scrolling through social media, or gossiping with friends. The other spends that same time reading books, exploring ideas, practicing skills, or listening to educational audio like this one. At first, there is no obvious difference, but after 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, the gap is massive. One is living almost the same life as before. The other has advanced skills, sharper thinking, and opportunities the first person cannot even see. That difference is created by daily learning. But why is it so important now, more than in the past? The answer is simple: the pace of change. In earlier times, someone could learn one trade or profession and keep doing it for life. A blacksmith could spend 40 years making tools. A farmer could use the same methods for decades, but today, industries transform overnight. Jobs disappear, and new ones appear just as quickly. Technology replaces repetitive work, while demand grows for creativity, critical thinking, and adaptability. If you want to stay ahead, you cannot rely on yesterday's knowledge. You must constantly update yourself, like upgrading your mind's software. Daily learning also gives you confidence. When you know you are growing, you stop fearing change. Instead of feeling anxious about the future, you feel prepared for it. You become adaptable, resourceful, and ready to face challenges. For example, if your job becomes outdated, you already have the habit of learning new skills, so you can pivot quickly. But if you stopped learning years ago, the world feels frightening because you have no tools to adapt. Another reason daily learning matters is that it shapes your identity. What you know influences how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. If you feed your mind with shallow entertainment all day, you shrink your possibilities. But if you feed your mind with great ideas, wisdom, and practical knowledge, you start to think bigger. You begin to dream bigger. You carry yourself with confidence because your thoughts are stronger. Even your relationships benefit from daily learning. When you grow, you bring more to conversations. You can share ideas, inspire others, and attract people who value growth. On the other hand, if you stop learning, you run out of depth. Conversations become repetitive and shallow because nothing new is entering your mind. Daily learning also fights one of the biggest enemies of modern life, comfort. Comfort is dangerous because it makes you stop trying. It makes you believe that what you already know is enough. But the moment you settle, you start declining. Daily learning keeps you uncomfortable in a good way. It reminds you there is always more to explore, more to understand, more to practice. This discomfort is the fuel that keeps you improving, while others are stuck. Some people argue that they do not have time to learn every day, but this is only an excuse. The truth is, daily learning does not mean spending hours locked in a library. It means being intentional with small pockets of time. You can learn during your commute, while exercising, before bed, or in breaks. Reading a few pages, listening to a podcast, watching an insightful video, or writing your reflections, these are small acts that build massive results over time. 15 minutes a day adds up to more than 90 hours a year. That is enough to finish dozens of books or master new skills. Another myth is that daily learning has to be formal or academic. It does not. Learning is everywhere. You can learn from conversations, experiences, mistakes, observations, and reflections. Life itself is a classroom, if you choose to see it that way. The key is awareness, being curious and willing to extract lessons from everything around you. When you commit to daily learning, you become unstoppable. Because no matter what happens in life, job loss, relationship struggles, personal setbacks, you always have your mind, and if your mind is growing stronger every day, you can recover, rebuild, and rise higher. That is why daily learning matters more than ever. It is not just about staying ahead of others, it is about building the best version of yourself. This chapter is the foundation for everything else in this audiobook. If you understand the importance of daily learning, you will be motivated to apply the techniques, habits, and practices we will explore in the next chapters. Remember this: knowledge is not power unless you use it. Daily learning gives you the knowledge, and consistent action transforms that knowledge into power. So starting today, make a commitment to yourself. Do not let a single day pass without learning something. It can be small, it can be simple, but it must be intentional, because over time, these daily drops of wisdom will not just keep you ahead of 99% of people, they will make you unstoppable. Chapter 2. The compound effect of small daily learning. One of the greatest secrets to success in life is the compound effect. It is the principle that small actions, repeated consistently over time, create massive results. Just like saving a small amount of money every day can grow into a fortune, small moments of learning each day can transform your entire life. Most people underestimate the power of small steps. They think only big changes matter, but the truth is big changes are built from small habits stacked on top of each other. Let us imagine two people. The first person decides to read for 15 minutes every day. That does not sound like much. In fact, it seems almost insignificant. 15 minutes is shorter than an episode of a TV show. But over 1 year, that person will have read more than 20 books. Over 5 years, 100 books. Over 10 years, 200 books. The second person, on the other hand, says 15 minutes is not worth the effort. They spend that time scrolling on their phone. After 1 year, they have learned almost nothing new. After 10 years, they are in the same place they started. Or worse. The difference between the two people becomes enormous. That is the compound effect. Small learning habits also build momentum. When you first start, learning for a short time may feel like a chore. But as days pass, your brain begins to crave it. You find yourself more curious, more alert, more eager to grow. What began as 15 minutes becomes 30 minutes, then an hour. Soon, learning is not a task, it is part of your identity, and that identity change is where real transformation begins. Another way to think about the compound effect is fitness. If you do one workout, you do not see results, but if you exercise consistently for months, your body changes. The same is true for your mind. 1 day of learning will not make you a genius, but 1,000 days of learning will make you wise, skilled, and far ahead of those who quit. The people who appear to succeed overnight are almost always the ones who quietly invested small efforts every day for years. Daily learning compounds, because knowledge connects. When you learn something new, it links to things you already know, creating a stronger web of understanding. For example, you may read one book about psychology and later watch a lecture on communication. Suddenly, the two ideas connect. You realize how psychology explains communication patterns. Later, you read about leadership, and those insights connect again. This web grows bigger and stronger with each new piece of knowledge. Over time, you are not just collecting facts. You are building a powerful framework that allows you to think deeply and solve problems creatively. Consistency also builds trust with yourself. Every time you learn daily, you prove to yourself that you can follow through on commitments. This strengthens self-discipline and confidence. You start to believe in your ability to grow, no matter what challenges come your way. That self-belief becomes one of your greatest assets. People without discipline often doubt themselves. They feel weak when faced with problems because they have no track record of growth. But you, through consistent learning, know that you can handle anything because you have built the habit of adaptation. The compound effect also protects you against the trap of comparison. Many people feel discouraged when they see someone more skilled, successful, or intelligent. They think, "I will never catch up." But what they do not realize is that consistent daily learning will close that gap. You may not become an expert in a week, but over months and years, your steady growth will surpass people who rely only on talent or luck. Slow, consistent growth always beats fast, inconsistent effort. Another important aspect is how the compound effect creates unexpected opportunities. When you keep learning, you develop skills and insights that others do not have. This makes you valuable in ways you cannot predict. For example, imagine you spend a year learning a new language 15 minutes a day. At first, it is just a personal project. But later, a job opportunity appears that requires that language. Suddenly, you are ahead of every other candidate. Or imagine you practice coding, writing, or public speaking a little every day. Months later, a project, a client, or a chance to lead shows up. Because of your consistent learning, you are ready to seize it. Others see it as luck, but you know it was preparation meeting opportunity. The reason most people fail to see results is because they give up too soon. They start learning but stop after a few days or weeks because they do not see dramatic changes. They expect instant results. But learning, like planting a tree, takes time. You cannot see growth immediately. but the roots are forming underground. With patience and consistency, the tree eventually grows strong and tall. The same happens with your mind. If you give up, you kill the tree before it can bear fruit. But if you keep going, the results will surprise you. The compound effect also affects your mindset. When you learn daily, you begin to think differently about yourself and the world. You start believing that improvement is always possible. This belief changes your actions. You take more risks, try new things, and stay optimistic. On the other hand, when you stop learning, you start believing the opposite, that growth is limited, that opportunities are rare, that life is fixed. This negative mindset traps you. But with daily learning, your mindset remains expansive and hopeful. It is important to remember that the compound effect works both ways. Just as small positive habits accumulate into big results, small negative habits accumulate into big problems. Wasting a little time every day on distractions may not seem harmful, but over years, it steals thousands of hours that could have been used for growth. Feeding your mind with negativity every day may feel harmless at first, but it builds into anxiety, doubt, and weakness. This is why being intentional with your daily actions is crucial. The habits you repeat shape the person you become. So, how do you make sure you harness the compound effect in learning? The answer is consistency over intensity. Do not try to learn everything in one day. Instead, focus on building the habit of daily learning. No matter how small, read a few pages, write a paragraph, watch a lecture, practice a skill. Keep it simple, but keep it consistent. The results will come naturally over time. The compound effect is the secret weapon of those who get ahead in life. It is quiet, invisible, and slow, but it is unstoppable. People may not notice your growth in a week or a month, but after years, they will wonder how you became so knowledgeable, skilled, and successful. They will not see the small steps you took daily, but you will know. Daily learning is not about racing ahead quickly. It is about walking forward consistently, every single day, and if you do that, the compound effect guarantees that you will not just keep up with the world, you will be far ahead of it. Chapter 3: Curiosity. The engine of lifelong learning. At the heart of every great learner is one powerful trait: curiosity. Curiosity is the desire to know, to explore, to ask questions, and to seek answers. Without it, education feels forced and mechanical. With it, learning becomes exciting and natural. Curiosity is what separates people who grow throughout life from those who stop. If you want to educate yourself every day, curiosity is the fuel that will keep you going. As children, curiosity comes naturally. Every child asks questions endlessly. Why is the sky blue? How do birds fly? What happens if I mix these colors together? The world is full of mysteries, and children approach it with wonder. But as people grow older, society often teaches them to stop asking questions. They are told to follow instructions, to memorize answers, to pass exams. Slowly, curiosity fades. Many adults stop exploring new ideas because they think they already know enough, or because they fear looking foolish if they ask questions. This is a tragedy, because curiosity is what keeps the mind alive. The good news is that curiosity can be reignited. It is not something you lose forever. It is like a muscle that grows stronger. The more you use it, the more questions you ask, the more curious you become. And once you rediscover curiosity, learning no longer feels like a chore. It becomes an adventure. Curiosity makes learning enjoyable because it connects with your interests. When you are curious about something, you want to dig deeper. For example, if you are curious about how music is created, you will naturally explore instruments, rhythms, and melodies. If you are curious about health, you will want to learn about nutrition, exercise, and the science of the body. Instead of forcing yourself to study, curiosity pulls you forward. It transforms effort into play. Curiosity also leads to creativity. When you ask unusual questions, you make connections others miss. Many breakthroughs in history came from curiosity. Scientists asked, "What if?" and discovered new laws of nature. Inventors asked, "Is there a better way?" and created tools that changed the world. Leaders asked, "Why do people behave this way?" and developed systems to inspire and guide others. Without curiosity, these discoveries would never have happened. Curiosity improves your memory as well. Research shows that when you are curious about something, your brain becomes more active and ready to absorb information. You remember details more easily because you are emotionally engaged. Compare this to studying something you do not care about, where information slips away quickly. Curiosity makes learning stick. To build curiosity, you must first allow yourself to wonder again. Do not shut down questions because they seem childish or simple. Instead, follow them. Ask why things are the way they are. Ask how things could be different. Ask what would happen if you tried a new approach. Curiosity does not require advanced knowledge. It requires openness. Start noticing the small details in your daily life. Why do people act the way they do in conversations? How does your phone actually work? What makes the sun set in such colors? Each of these observations can open doors to deeper knowledge. The more you notice, the more curious you become. Another way to grow curiosity is to explore different subjects. Many people believe they should only focus on one area of study, like business, science, or art. But curiosity thrives when you mix fields. For example, learning about history can give you insight into human behavior, which helps in business. Learning about art can improve your creativity, which helps in problem solving. The more areas you explore, the more connections your brain makes, and the more curious you become. Curiosity also requires humility. You must accept that you do not know everything, and that there is always more to learn. Arrogance kills curiosity. People who think they already know enough stop asking questions, but wise people understand that knowledge is infinite. The more they learn, the more they realize how much remains unknown. This humility keeps curiosity alive. Daily curiosity makes life richer. Instead of living on autopilot, you see the world with fresh eyes. Ordinary things become interesting. A walk in the park is no longer just exercise. It is a chance to notice plants, animals, and patterns in nature. A conversation is no longer just passing time. It is an opportunity to learn from another person's experiences. Curiosity turns the ordinary into extraordinary. Curiosity also helps you overcome boredom. Many people complain of being bored, but boredom is simply a lack of curiosity. The world is filled with endless things to explore, yet people often ignore them because they are too busy or too distracted. If you train yourself to ask questions and seek answers, you will never be bored again. There will always be something new to discover. To practice curiosity, try this simple exercise. Each day, write down 3 questions about anything you notice. For example, why do people shake hands? How do airplanes stay in the sky? What makes some people confident while others are shy? Then spend a little time looking for answers. You do not need to find complete answers. Just explore. This practice will reawaken your curiosity and make learning part of your daily routine. The greatest advantage of curiosity is that it makes you unique. While most people repeat the same routines without thought, curious people stand out. They see opportunities others miss. They find solutions others overlook. They connect ideas in ways others cannot. Curiosity is not just a trait, it is a competitive edge. As you continue this audiobook, remember that curiosity is the foundation of lifelong learning. Without it, the advice and strategies will feel heavy. With it, every step will feel natural and exciting. Curiosity is the key that unlocks the joy of education. It is what will keep you ahead of the 99% who stopped asking questions long ago. Chapter 4: The Habit of Reading. Feeding your mind daily. If there is one single habit that can transform your ability to educate yourself every day, it is reading. Reading is the doorway to new ideas, new perspectives, and new worlds. Every book, every article, every page carries within it years of someone else's knowledge and experience, compressed into words you can absorb in hours or days. By reading, you can learn from the wisest minds in history, without ever meeting them in person. Think about it. A book may have taken the author 10 or 20 years of trial, error, and reflection, yet you can read it in a week and capture those lessons. Reading gives you access to lifetimes of wisdom at almost no cost. That is why great leaders, successful entrepreneurs, scientists, and thinkers throughout history were readers. They fed their minds with constant learning. When you read, you are not only gathering facts, you are training your brain to think. Reading stretches your imagination. It challenges your assumptions. It helps you see problems and solutions from new angles. A single book can change how you understand the world. A single page can plant a seed that grows into a new idea, a new goal, or even a new life path. Reading every day also builds discipline. In a world filled with distractions, social media, endless videos, constant notifications, sitting down with a book or a focused article is an act of resistance. It is you choosing to invest in your mind instead of being pulled by noise. Over time, this daily choice strengthens your focus and patience, two skills that are becoming rare but extremely valuable. Now you might wonder what you should read. The truth is, there is no single answer. The best reading habit is the one that matches your curiosity and your goals. Some people read history to understand patterns of human behavior. Others read science to learn how the world works. Some read philosophy to gain wisdom. Others read biographies to study the lives of great individuals. And yes, even fiction has power. Stories expand empathy and imagination, allowing you to walk in the shoes of characters from different times, places, and cultures. The point is not to limit yourself, but to expose yourself to variety. Read widely, read deeply. Allow different subjects to spark connections in your mind. Often, the greatest insights come from mixing ideas from different fields. A scientist who reads poetry may find creativity in their research. A business person who reads history may avoid mistakes others made in the past. Reading across disciplines makes your thinking sharper and more original. Building a daily reading habit does not mean forcing yourself to read for hours at once. Start small. Even 15 minutes a day can make a difference. 15 minutes may seem small, but over a year that adds up to more than 90 hours of focused learning. That is the power of consistency. Small steps become big results. To make reading a habit, connect it to something you already do. For example, read during breakfast instead of scrolling through your phone. Read before bed instead of watching another episode of a show. Carry a book or an e-reader with you so you can use spare moments to feed your mind. The goal is to make reading part of your daily rhythm, just like brushing your teeth. Some people say they struggle to focus on books. That is normal at first, especially in an age of constant distraction. Your brain has been trained to jump quickly from one thing to another, but focus is like a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it gets. Start with short sessions, then gradually increase. Over time, your ability to concentrate will grow. If you truly cannot sit with a book, remember that listening also counts. Audiobooks are a powerful way to learn while you are walking, commuting, or exercising. They allow you to turn empty time into productive time. What matters is not the format, but the content you are feeding your mind. Reading also improves your communication skills. When you read, you are exposed to new words, new sentence structures, and new ways of expressing ideas. Without even noticing, your vocabulary grows, your speaking becomes clearer, and your writing becomes stronger. This makes you more persuasive and more confident in every area of life. Another benefit of reading is stress reduction. Life is full of challenges, and the mind often feels restless. Reading gives you a chance to slow down, to enter a different world, to take a break from your worries. It is both relaxation and growth at the same time. Few habits can give you that balance. There is also a deep joy in reading. The moment you turn the pages and discover a thought that resonates with your soul, it feels like you are having a conversation with a friend across time and space. You realize you are not alone in your struggles or your dreams. Others have walked similar paths and left behind their wisdom for you to follow. But perhaps the greatest reason to read every day is that it keeps you ahead of the 99%. Most people do not read consistently after school. They consume content passively through entertainment and social media, but they do not invest in structured, deep learning. If you make reading part of your daily routine, you are already setting yourself apart. Over time, this difference becomes massive. While others drift, you grow. While others waste time, you build wisdom. Imagine yourself a year from now. If you read 20 or 30 books, how much richer would your mind be? How many new skills would you have picked up? How many insights would you have gained? Each book is like a stepping stone on your journey, taking you further and higher. So as you continue this audiobook, make a commitment to yourself. Decide that reading will no longer be something you do occasionally, but something you do daily. Choose your first book today. Set aside time for it. Protect that time. Let it become a sacred part of your routine, because the habit of reading is not just about gathering information, it is about transforming who you are. Chapter 5. Learning from people. The power of mentors and conversations. When we think about education, most people imagine books, classes, or online courses. But one of the most powerful ways to learn is often overlooked. Learning directly from other people. Human beings are natural storytellers, and we carry wisdom inside our experiences. If you want to educate yourself every day, you must learn to listen, to ask questions, and to surround yourself with people who make you grow. Think about the people in your life. Each one of them knows something you do not know. Your friend might know a skill you have never practiced. Your neighbor may have lived through challenges that could teach you resilience. Even strangers you meet on a bus or in a cafe have stories that could expand your perspective. When you approach life with the mindset that every person has something to teach you, the whole world becomes your classroom. History shows us that some of the most successful people were not only readers but also learners from other people. Socrates, the Greek philosopher, taught through conversations. He believed asking questions was the best way to discover truth. Great inventors often had mentors who guided them. Leaders throughout time surrounded themselves with advisors and teachers. No one becomes great alone. We all need others to help us grow. A mentor is one of the most valuable resources you can have. A mentor is someone who has already walked the path you want to take. They have made mistakes, overcome obstacles, and gained experience. By listening to them, you can learn in months what may have taken them years. A good mentor is like a shortcut through the struggles of life. But remember, mentorship does not always mean a formal teacher. A mentor can be a family member, a friend, a colleague, or even an author whose books you read and apply. The important thing is to stay open to guidance. Conversations are also powerful tools for growth. Every time you speak with someone, you have a choice. You can stay at the surface, or you can go deeper. Instead of just talking about the weather or small gossip, you can ask meaningful questions. What challenges are you facing right now? What is the biggest lesson you have learned recently? What book or experience has shaped your life? Questions like these open doors to wisdom. They invite people to share insights that may inspire you for years. But to truly learn from people, you must also develop the skill of listening. Many people hear, but few actually listen. Listening means being fully present, not planning what you are going to say next, but giving your attention to the other person's words. When you listen deeply, you pick up details, emotions, and lessons that others might miss. Listening is not passive, it is active learning. Another way to learn from people is by observing. Sometimes people do not teach with words, but with actions. Watch how successful people carry themselves, how they handle pressure, how they make decisions. Pay attention to how they treat others, how they solve problems, how they stay disciplined. By observing carefully, you can pick up habits and attitudes that will shape your own growth. It is also important to choose the right environment. The people you spend time with influence your thoughts, your habits, and your future. If you surround yourself with people who complain all the time, you will start complaining. If you spend time with people who are ambitious and disciplined, you will naturally rise to their level. This is why so many wise teachers say, "Show me your friends, and I will show you your future." Your circle matters. Choose wisely. Now you may ask, how can I find people who inspire me? The answer is to be intentional. Join communities where people share your goals. Attend events, workshops, or even online groups. Seek out those who are further ahead on the path you want to walk. Do not be afraid to reach out. Ask questions and show genuine curiosity. People often enjoy sharing what they know, especially with someone who is eager to learn. At the same time, do not underestimate what you can learn from people younger or less experienced than you. Sometimes a fresh perspective comes from those who see the world differently. A child can teach you about wonder and curiosity. A beginner can remind you of the importance of asking simple questions. Everyone has value. Learning from people also means being humble. Pride can block your growth. If you think you already know everything, you will stop listening. But when you admit that you can always learn more, doors open. Humility is the foundation of lifelong education. You can also learn indirectly from people you may never meet. Biographies, documentaries, and interviews give you access to the lives of remarkable individuals. When you study their choices, struggles, and successes, you expand your own mental library. The lessons they leave behind are like treasures waiting for you to discover. There is another dimension to learning from people. Learning from conflict and disagreement. Many avoid arguments because they feel uncomfortable. But if you approach them with an open mind, disagreements can sharpen your thinking. When someone challenges your view, you are forced to examine it more deeply. Sometimes you realize you were wrong, and that is growth. Other times you strengthen your belief by seeing it withstand challenge. Either way, you become wiser. One more thing to remember is that giving also teaches you. When you share knowledge with others, you often understand it better yourself. Teaching is one of the best forms of learning. It forces you to organize your thoughts, explain clearly, and answer questions. So do not only seek to learn from others, be willing to share what you know. The act of giving multiplies your growth. In the end, people are living books. Each life holds chapters of lessons. If you pay attention, you can read those chapters every day. The stories, mistakes, successes, and perspectives of others are free education, always available, if only you are willing to listen. So, remember this truth. Books will give you knowledge, but people will give you wisdom. Reading and studying are powerful, but conversations and mentorship bring those lessons to life. To educate yourself every day and stay ahead of 99% of people, make it a habit to learn not just from pages, but also from faces. Look around you. Every person you meet could be your next teacher. Chapter 6: The Power of Reflection. Turning experience into wisdom. Learning every day is not just about absorbing new information or acquiring new skills. Equally important is taking time to reflect on what you have learned. Reflection is the process of thinking deeply about your experiences, your successes, your mistakes, and your observations. Without reflection, knowledge remains like a pile of bricks without a foundation. With reflection, it becomes a strong building, ready to support your growth. Every day, we encounter countless experiences. Some are major events, like a promotion at work or a conflict with a friend. Others are small, seemingly insignificant moments, a conversation, a decision, or even a mistake. Reflection allows us to extract the lessons hidden within these experiences. By doing so, we convert ordinary life into a rich source of wisdom. Think about it this way. Imagine you read a book or watch a lecture, but never stop to think about what it means for you. The knowledge enters your mind and then leaves again, like water poured onto sand. Now imagine you pause, ask yourself questions, and connect what you learn to your life. Suddenly the lesson sticks. You can apply it. It becomes part of who you are. This is the magic of reflection. Reflection also helps you identify patterns in your life. When you look back at your decisions and behaviors, you begin to see trends. Maybe you notice that every time you procrastinate, you feel stressed and unproductive. Or perhaps you see that when you ask questions and seek help, you achieve better results. Recognizing these patterns allows you to adjust your behavior, avoid repeating mistakes, and build habits that serve your goals. Another benefit of reflection is self-awareness. Many people go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations without understanding their own motivations, strengths, and weaknesses. Reflection shines a light on your inner world. You start to see what drives you, what holds you back, and what brings you satisfaction. Self-awareness is essential because it empowers you to make intentional choices rather than being controlled by habits, emotions, or external pressures. Journaling is one of the most effective tools for reflection. Writing down your thoughts each day forces you to organize them, clarify your experiences, and think critically. A journal can be simple, a few sentences about what you learned, what challenged you, and what you want to improve. Over time, your journal becomes a record of your growth. You can look back months or years later and see how far you have come. This is motivating and reinforces the habit of daily learning. Reflection is especially powerful after challenges or failures. Life does not always go as planned. You will face setbacks, disappointments, and mistakes. The key is not to avoid failure, but to learn from it. By reflecting on what went wrong and why, you turn mistakes into lessons. Instead of repeating the same errors, you gain insight that strengthens your skills and resilience. Failure becomes a teacher, not a source of frustration. Another way to practice reflection is to ask yourself questions at the end of each day. Questions like, what did I learn today? What challenged me? What can I do better tomorrow? How did I help or inspire someone today? These simple questions guide your mind to extract value from every experience. When done consistently, this practice sharpens your thinking, improves decision-making, and accelerates personal growth. Reflection also deepens understanding. Reading a book or attending a lecture gives you information, but thinking about how that information applies to your life turns it into knowledge. Thinking critically about ideas, testing them against your experience, and exploring their implications creates insight. This is how ordinary learning becomes extraordinary growth. Meditation can complement reflection. By taking quiet moments to focus inward, you create mental space to analyze your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Meditation helps you notice patterns in your thinking, recognize mental habits, and clear distractions. Combined with reflection, meditation strengthens your ability to learn from both experiences and observations. Another advantage of reflection is emotional growth. When you reflect, you not only analyze situations logically, but also consider your emotional responses. Why did a situation make you angry, anxious, or excited? Understanding your emotions allows you to manage them better, respond rather than react, and maintain composure in challenging circumstances. Emotional intelligence is a skill that separates the average from the exceptional. Reflection also promotes gratitude. When you think about what went well, what you achieved, or what you learned, you develop a positive mindset. Gratitude shifts your attention from what you lack to what you can build upon. It encourages optimism, which fuels motivation for continuous learning and improvement. It is important to remember that reflection requires honesty. You must face uncomfortable truths about yourself without excuses or blame. Growth comes from acknowledging weaknesses as much as celebrating strengths. Avoiding honesty may feel easier, but it prevents transformation. True reflection is courageous because it demands you confront your reality and take responsibility for your growth. One of the most powerful forms of reflection is after conversations with others. After a discussion, think about what you learned, what insights the other person shared, and what you could apply. Reflection transforms ordinary interactions into education. Even disagreements and debates can become valuable lessons when analyzed thoughtfully. Consistency in reflection is crucial. Just like reading or exercising, reflection is a skill that strengthens with practice. Setting aside 5 to 15 minutes daily can yield tremendous benefits. This is not time wasted, it is time invested in making every experience count. Finally, reflection multiplies the benefits of all other learning habits. Reading, listening, observing, and experiencing the world all provide raw material. Reflection processes this material, connects ideas, identifies patterns, and converts experience into actionable wisdom. Without reflection, learning remains surface level. With reflection, it becomes deeply transformative. So, as you continue your journey to educate yourself every day, remember to pause, think, and reflect. Let every experience, every lesson, and every conversation feed your mind and your growth. Daily reflection turns ordinary life into a school, failure into a teacher, and curiosity into wisdom. Those who master reflection do not just learn, they evolve. Chapter 7. Setting Goals, your daily compass for growth. Learning every day is powerful, but without direction, it can feel scattered. That is why goal setting is one of the most important habits of highly effective learners. Goals act like a compass, guiding your actions, focus, and energy. When you know where you want to go, every moment of learning becomes meaningful, and every experience contributes to your growth. Goals give structure to your learning. Imagine you spend an hour every day studying, but you have no clear aim. You may read articles, watch videos, or listen to podcasts, but without focus, most of the information slips away. Now imagine you set a goal to master a specific skill, understand a particular subject, or achieve a measurable outcome. Suddenly, every action is intentional. You choose resources, practice techniques, and allocate time that directly moves you toward that goal. Effective goals are specific. Saying, "I want to get better at English" is vague. A better goal is, "I want to improve my English speaking skills so I can confidently give a 5-minute talk in 3 months. Specific goals create clarity. You know exactly what success looks like, which helps you stay motivated and track progress. Goals should also be measurable. When you can measure progress, you can celebrate milestones and adjust your approach. For example, if your goal is to read 20 books in a year, you can track how many books you complete each month. If your goal is to learn 5 new skills, you can track which ones you have mastered. Measurement turns learning from a vague effort into a tangible journey. Setting realistic goals is crucial. Many people fail because they aim too high too quickly. Ambitious goals are inspiring, but if they are impossible to reach, they create frustration. Break larger goals into smaller steps. Each small achievement builds confidence and momentum. Consistency, not speed, is the key to staying ahead. Time-bound goals are another important principle. Without deadlines, learning can drift indefinitely. By setting a timeline, you create urgency and focus. Deadlines are not about pressure. They are about guiding your energy and ensuring that daily actions accumulate into meaningful results. Writing down your goals is essential. The act of writing clarifies your intentions and makes them more concrete. People who write their goals are far more likely to achieve them than those who only think about them. Post your goals somewhere visible, review them daily, and let them guide your decisions and habits. Another aspect of goal setting is alignment with your values. Goals are most motivating when they resonate with your core beliefs and desires. If you pursue something that is not meaningful to you, you will struggle to stay committed. Reflect on what matters most in your life. and let your goals reflect that. When your goals are aligned with your values, learning feels natural, exciting, and rewarding. Daily micro goals are just as important as long-term goals. Even if your ultimate aim is far away, small goals give you focus every day. For example, if you want to become fluent in a language, a daily micro goal might be to learn 10 new words, practice speaking for 15 minutes, or write a short journal entry. Micro goals keep you moving forward and make the process manageable. Reviewing and adjusting your goals is part of the process. Life is unpredictable, and your priorities may change. Regularly assess your progress and adapt your goals as needed. Flexibility does not mean giving up. It means learning to navigate intelligently. Those who succeed over the long term are not rigid. They are adaptable while remaining committed to growth. Goals also enhance focus. In a world filled with distractions, it is easy to waste time on unimportant activities. Goals act as a filter. When you have clear objectives, you can quickly determine whether an activity contributes to your growth or merely fills your time. This is the difference between drifting and moving with purpose. Visualization is a powerful tool in goal setting. Spend a few minutes each day imagining yourself achieving your goals. Picture the skills you will have, the confidence you will feel, and the benefits that will come. Visualization creates a mental blueprint, which reinforces motivation and prepares your brain to take the necessary steps. Accountability strengthens goals. Share your objectives with someone you trust, whether a friend, mentor, or family member. Regular check-ins create responsibility and support. Knowing that someone else is aware of your goals increases commitment and follow-through. Accountability does not have to be formal. Even casual discussions about progress can make a significant difference. Goals also encourage resilience. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but having a clear destination helps you keep moving. When obstacles arise, you can adapt your approach, seek solutions, and remain committed. Without goals, setbacks feel like failure. With goals, they feel like lessons and opportunities to improve. Long-term goals are like your North Star, guiding your overall direction. Short-term goals are like signposts along the way, giving immediate focus. Both are necessary. The combination of vision and daily steps allows learning to compound. 1 hour of intentional learning each day, directed by clear goals, becomes an unstoppable force over months and years. Finally, remember that goals are dynamic. Life changes, new interests emerge, and new opportunities appear. Stay open to adjusting your goals while remaining committed to continuous learning. The key is to always move forward, consistently, intentionally, and thoughtfully. When you integrate goal setting into your daily learning, every action gains purpose. You no longer learn randomly, you learn strategically. You no longer drift through life. You move with direction. Goals transform knowledge into power, effort into results, and curiosity into mastery. By practicing daily reflection, setting clear goals, and taking consistent steps toward them, you create a life where education is not occasional. It is constant. You become someone who is always improving, always ahead, and always ready for the challenges and opportunities that life presents. Those who master this habit do not just survive, they thrive. Chapter 8. The Habit of Consistency. Small steps every day. Education and personal growth are not achieved through occasional bursts of effort. They are built by consistency. Small, deliberate actions repeated daily. Consistency is what turns knowledge into skill, curiosity into mastery, and ambition into achievement. Without it, even the brightest ideas remain just ideas. With it, ordinary people accomplish extraordinary results. Consistency is powerful because it compounds over time. Imagine you dedicate just 30 minutes every day to learning something new. It may not feel like much initially, but 30 minutes daily adds up to 3.5 hours per week, about 15 hours per month, and nearly 180 hours per year. That is the equivalent of several full-time weeks spent mastering a skill or absorbing knowledge. Small actions, when repeated, become unstoppable momentum. One of the most important aspects of consistency is routine. Establishing a daily learning routine removes the reliance on motivation, which can fluctuate. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you may feel excited and driven, but other days you may feel tired or distracted. Consistency does not depend on how you feel. It relies on creating habits that become automatic. By making learning part of your daily schedule, you ensure progress even on difficult days. Consistency also builds discipline. Discipline is the ability to act according to your long-term goals rather than short-term desires. When you consistently commit to learning every day, you strengthen this mental muscle. Over time, following through on your goals becomes easier because your mind is trained to prioritize growth over distraction. Discipline grows silently, but its results are profound. Another key to consistency is starting small. People often fail because they try to do too much at once. They set unrealistic targets, then become frustrated when they cannot meet them. True consistency is about manageable daily actions. If you commit to 15 minutes of focused reading or writing a short reflection each day, you are more likely to maintain the habit. Small successes create confidence, which encourages bigger efforts later. Consistency also fosters resilience. Life is unpredictable. There will be interruptions, challenges, and days when everything feels off track. By committing to small, consistent actions, you develop the mental toughness to continue despite obstacles. Every day you keep going, you reinforce the belief that your growth matters more than temporary setbacks. Tracking your progress is a powerful reinforcement of consistency. Keeping a simple record of daily learning, reading, or practice allows you to see your achievements accumulate over time. The visual proof of consistency motivates you to continue. It reminds you that your small daily efforts are producing results, even if you do not feel immediate change. Consistency benefits not only your knowledge, but also your habits and mindset. When you show up every day for learning, you begin to internalize the values of discipline, responsibility, and patience. These traits spill over into other areas of life, from work to relationships. Learning to commit to small actions consistently strengthens your character in ways beyond knowledge alone. Another critical aspect of consistency is focus. Multitasking or jumping from one topic to another disrupts growth. When you choose a path and stick with it daily, your mind develops depth. You move beyond superficial understanding and begin to grasp concepts at a profound level. Consistency allows you to dig deeper, explore connections, and master subjects that fleeting efforts cannot reach. Consistency also allows for reflection and adjustment. When you engage in repeated daily learning, you naturally observe what methods work best for you. Some reading techniques, study schedules, or practice methods will yield better results than others. Daily repetition gives you enough data to refine your approach and become more efficient over time. The power of consistency is amplified when paired with curiosity and goal setting. Curiosity ensures that your actions remain meaningful and engaging. Goals provide direction, so your repeated efforts are purposeful. Together, these habits create a learning engine that drives growth relentlessly. Without consistency, curiosity and goals may inspire short bursts, but they lack sustainability. Consistency also has a compounding psychological effect. Each day, you follow through builds self-trust. You prove to yourself that you can commit, that you can follow a plan, that you are capable of growth. Over weeks and months, this self-trust becomes confidence. Confidence fuels further learning, creating a cycle where effort leads to results, and results reinforce effort. One practical approach to consistency is habit stacking. Attach a new learning habit to an existing routine. For instance, if you drink coffee every morning, read or listen to an educational audiobook during that time. If you brush your teeth at night, write a short reflection afterward. By linking new habits to established routines, you reduce friction and make consistency easier. Another approach is to eliminate excuses before they arise. Prepare your learning environment in advance. Keep books, notebooks, or devices ready. Schedule uninterrupted time. Remove distractions that could break the flow. Consistency often fails, not because of lack of effort, but because of small, avoidable interruptions. Plan ahead to prevent disruption. Consistency also builds patience, a crucial ingredient for success. Most meaningful growth does not happen overnight. Mastery takes time. When you commit to learning every day, you develop the patience to work steadily, without giving in to frustration. You learn to trust the process and recognize that incremental progress accumulates into significant transformation. Finally, remember that consistency is about showing up, not being perfect. Some days your effort will be imperfect. Some days you may not feel inspired. What matters is that you continue, even imperfect. Small steps every day are more valuable than occasional massive bursts of effort. The secret to long-term success is to keep moving forward consistently. When you combine daily curiosity, reflection, goal setting, and consistent action, you create a life that is continuously improving. You stay ahead of the 99% who drift through life without direction. Consistency transforms ordinary routines into powerful engines of growth. Every small step repeated daily compounds into extraordinary results. By making consistency a core habit, you ensure that learning becomes a lifelong practice rather than a temporary effort. Knowledge, skills, and insights accumulate, your mindset strengthens, and your ability to act intentionally in life grows. Those who master the habit of consistency do not just learn, they evolve. One day at a time, one step at a time. Chapter 9. The Power of Curiosity. Never stop asking questions. One of the most important habits of successful learners is curiosity. Curiosity is the desire to know more, to understand, and to explore. It is the spark that ignites learning. Without curiosity, education becomes a chore. With curiosity, every moment has potential for discovery, and every person, experience, or idea becomes an opportunity to grow. Curiosity begins with asking questions. The most intelligent people in history were not simply those who had answers, they were those who asked the right questions. Socrates famously asked questions not to show he knew, but to guide others to understanding. Questions push your mind to seek answers, make connections, and explore possibilities. Every day presents countless opportunities for questions. Why does something happen the way it does? How could I approach this differently? What can I learn from this experience? Even ordinary situations are full of lessons, if you look closely. Curiosity transforms mundane life into a series of learning experiences. Curiosity also drives experimentation. When you are curious, you do not settle for what you already know. You test, explore, and try new things. This is essential for growth. Reading a book is helpful, but applying the knowledge and observing the results deepens understanding. Curiosity pushes you to move beyond theory into practice. Another key aspect of curiosity is openness. A curious mind is open to new ideas, perspectives, and feedback. It does not dismiss information because it challenges previous beliefs. Instead, it listens, considers, and evaluates. Open-minded curiosity allows you to continuously learn and adapt. Closed-mindedness, in contrast, stops growth in its tracks. Curiosity fuels innovation. Every major breakthrough in science, business, or art began with a question: what if, or why not? By cultivating curiosity, you train your brain to see possibilities rather than limitations. You start thinking creatively, finding solutions where others see problems, and discovering opportunities that others overlook. Curiosity also strengthens memory and understanding. When you are genuinely interested in something, your brain pays more attention. You are more likely to remember details, understand context, and retain lessons over time. Learning driven by curiosity is more enjoyable, more effective, and more likely to stick. To cultivate curiosity, start by embracing beginner's mind. Approach every topic as if you know nothing. Even subjects you think you understand well have hidden layers of knowledge. Ask yourself, what do I not know? What could I learn today? This mindset keeps learning exciting and prevents complacency. Curiosity grows when you interact with diverse people. Talk to people with different experiences, backgrounds, and viewpoints. Listen actively, ask thoughtful questions, and absorb their insights. Diversity of perspective expands your mental horizons and challenges assumptions you may not even realize you hold. Sometimes curiosity leads to uncomfortable discoveries. You may learn truths about yourself, society, or the world that are challenging. But curiosity allows you to face reality instead of avoiding it. Growth requires facing discomfort, and curiosity provides the motivation to explore beyond your comfort zone. Curiosity also encourages lifelong learning. Children are naturally curious. They ask endless questions and explore endlessly. Adults often lose this habit, but it can be regained. The difference between lifelong learners and others is the willingness to keep asking, exploring, and discovering, no matter age or experience. Journaling can support curiosity. Write down questions that arise during the day, observations, or ideas you want to explore. Later, research them, test them, or discuss them with others. Journaling turns fleeting curiosity into structured investigation, ensuring no question goes unanswered. Curiosity is also linked to confidence. When you seek to understand rather than appear smart, you reduce fear of failure or judgment. You embrace mistakes as opportunities to learn. The more questions you ask and explore, the more confident you become in your ability to learn and grow independently. Another way to cultivate curiosity is through reading and research. Explore topics outside your usual interests. Discover unfamiliar subjects, explore different cultures, or study disciplines unrelated to your field. The more diverse your knowledge, the richer your understanding of the world, and the more connections your brain can make between ideas. Curiosity also enhances problem solving. When faced with challenges, curious people ask why the problem exists, what alternatives are possible, and what lessons can be learned. Instead of being stuck, they experiment, adapt, and innovate. Curiosity turns obstacles into opportunities and uncertainty into a playground for learning. Daily curiosity does not require a lot of time. It is a mindset. Ask questions throughout the day. Observe details others ignore, explore new ideas, and follow your interests. Even small acts of curiosity accumulate, transforming your knowledge, perspective, and abilities over months and years. Finally, curiosity makes life more exciting. When you are curious, learning is not a task, it is an adventure. Every day holds potential for discovery. Every person you meet can teach something new. Every situation becomes an opportunity to grow. Curiosity transforms education from a duty into a joyful, lifelong pursuit. To stay ahead of 99% of people, cultivate relentless curiosity. Ask questions, seek answers, explore widely, and embrace the unknown. Let curiosity drive your learning, guide your daily actions, and inspire your growth. Those who remain curious never stop evolving, and those who never stop evolving are the ones who achieve extraordinary results. Chapter 10: The Role of Reading. Expanding your mind daily. Reading is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth and education. Books contain the knowledge, experiences, and insights of countless people across time and space. When you read consistently, you access the wisdom of experts, thinkers, leaders, and ordinary people who have learned lessons you can benefit from instantly. To educate yourself every day and stay ahead of 99% of people, reading must be a habit. Many people underestimate the value of reading. They scroll through social media, watch videos, or skim headlines, believing it counts as learning. But passive consumption rarely builds deep knowledge or skills. Reading requires focus, engagement, and reflection. It trains your mind to think critically, understand context, and absorb complex ideas. To make reading effective, choose material that challenges you. Don't just stick to easy or familiar topics. Explore subjects that stretch your understanding, introduce new perspectives, or require careful thought. Challenging reading pushes your brain to make new connections, solve problems, and expand its capacity for comprehension. Consistency is key in reading. Even reading just a few pages daily can create massive growth over time. A single book may take a week or a month, but the lessons it imparts last a lifetime. Reading regularly, rather than occasionally, ensures that knowledge accumulates steadily and forms the foundation for lifelong learning. Reading also develops empathy and emotional intelligence. When you read stories, biographies, or novels, you experience life through the eyes of others. You encounter different cultures, perspectives, and struggles. This helps you understand people better in real life, communicate more effectively, and navigate relationships with insight. Emotional intelligence is a skill often overlooked, but it is critical for personal and professional success. Another benefit of reading is that it sharpens focus and concentration. In a world full of distractions, reading requires uninterrupted attention. By practicing concentration daily, you train your mind to stay present, analyze information, and resist the pull of constant interruptions. Strong focus is a superpower in learning and productivity. Variety in reading is important. Don't limit yourself to one genre or field. Read fiction, non-fiction, history, science, psychology, philosophy, or business. Each area offers unique insights and ways of thinking. Diverse reading broadens your perspective, enhances creativity, and allows you to connect ideas across disciplines. These connections are often where innovation and deep understanding emerge. Reading actively is different from reading passively. Active reading involves questioning, annotating, and summarizing. Ask yourself, what is the main idea? How does this connect to what I already know? What lessons can I apply in my life? Summarizing and taking notes strengthens retention and ensures that information becomes practical knowledge rather than forgotten facts. Audiobooks can also be powerful learning tools, especially when combined with reflection and repetition. Listening to an audiobook allows you to consume knowledge while commuting, exercising, or performing routine tasks. However, listening should be intentional. Take notes mentally or physically, pause to reflect, and apply the lessons. Combining reading and listening enhances retention and comprehension. Reading encourages critical thinking. Not everything in books or articles is correct, and some ideas challenge your beliefs. By questioning and analyzing the material, you develop the ability to evaluate information critically. Critical thinking is an essential skill for distinguishing truth from opinion, making informed decisions, and solving problems effectively. Moreover, reading builds mental discipline. Developing a habit of reading requires commitment, especially in a world filled with distractions. Each day you dedicate time to reading. You strengthen your ability to focus, prioritize learning, and invest in yourself. This discipline carries over into other areas of life, from work to personal growth. Reading also accelerates goal achievement. The more knowledge and insights you gather, the faster you can solve problems, make decisions, and innovate. People who read widely often discover shortcuts to success because they leverage the experiences and lessons of others. Instead of learning solely through trial and error, they benefit from accumulated wisdom. Reflecting on what you read is as important as the reading itself. After finishing a book or article, ask yourself, what did I learn? How can I apply this in my life? Which ideas challenged my perspective? Reflection transforms reading from passive consumption into active education. Writing down insights, discussing them with others, or applying them in real situations strengthens understanding and retention. Reading also helps you stay curious and engaged with life. It exposes you to new ideas, trends, and ways of thinking. By continually exploring different subjects, you maintain a growth mindset, keeping your mind flexible and receptive to opportunities. Curiosity and reading together create a powerful cycle of continuous learning. Finally, remember that reading is a lifelong investment. The knowledge, critical thinking skills, and mental discipline you develop through consistent reading compound over time. Those who read daily stay ahead because they access information, ideas, and strategies that most people never encounter. Reading keeps your mind sharp, your understanding deep, and your growth unstoppable. When you commit to reading daily, you turn the world into your classroom. Every page teaches you something new. Every book equips you with tools for life, business, and personal growth, combined with curiosity, reflection, goal setting, and consistency. Reading becomes a cornerstone habit that propels you far ahead of the majority. Those who master the habit of reading not only educate themselves, they transform their entire lives. Chapter 11. Learning from others, mentors, peers, and role models. One of the fastest ways to educate yourself and stay ahead of most people is to learn from those who have already achieved what you aspire to achieve. Knowledge is not only found in books, videos, or courses, it is also found in the experiences, insights, and guidance of others. Mentors, peers, and role models offer shortcuts to wisdom, helping you avoid mistakes, accelerate growth, and expand your perspective. Mentors are invaluable because they have walked the path you want to follow. They can share what works, what does not, and what they wish they had known earlier. Mentors save you time and energy by providing guidance tailored to your goals. They can challenge you, hold you accountable, and inspire you to push beyond your comfort zone. Finding a mentor requires initiative. Seek out people you admire, approach them respectfully, and show willingness to learn. Peers are equally important. Surrounding yourself with motivated, curious, and intelligent individuals creates an environment that fosters growth. You learn from your peers through collaboration, discussion, and shared experiences. When you exchange ideas, challenge assumptions, and give constructive feedback, everyone benefits. Peers keep you motivated and provide different perspectives that broaden your understanding. Role models, even if distant or public figures, can guide you through example. Observing how successful people think, act, and handle challenges teaches you lessons that books alone cannot provide. Study their habits, mindset, decision-making, and resilience. Apply insights to your own life while adapting them to your context. Role models show what is possible and set a standard to aim for. Listening is a key skill when learning from others. Don't just hear words, understand the ideas, intentions, and experiences behind them. Ask questions, seek clarification, and reflect on how the lessons apply to you. Active listening turns conversations into education. When you truly listen, you absorb knowledge more effectively than through passive observation. Learning from others also involves humility. Recognize that you do not know everything, and that others can teach you valuable lessons. Pride or ego can block learning. The most successful learners are open-minded and willing to accept guidance, even from unexpected sources. Humility allows you to absorb wisdom that might otherwise be overlooked. Feedback is another crucial element. Seeking and receiving feedback from mentors, peers, or colleagues accelerates learning. Constructive criticism helps you identify blind spots, correct mistakes, and refine your skills. Many people avoid feedback out of fear or discomfort, but embracing it is essential for continuous growth. Feedback is a mirror that shows you areas for improvement and highlights what you may not notice yourself. Observation is a subtle but powerful way to learn. Watch how people behave in different situations. Notice how leaders handle challenges, how communicators engage others, and how professionals make decisions. Observing patterns of behavior and the results they produce gives you lessons that are difficult to learn through books alone. Experience shared through observation is a silent teacher. Networking expands your opportunities to learn from others. Attend events, workshops, seminars, or online communities where like-minded learners gather. Engaging with diverse people increases the variety of experiences and perspectives you are exposed to. Every new connection is a potential source of insight, advice, or inspiration. Learning from others is not passive imitation. It is about understanding principles, strategies, and mindsets, then adapting them to your own life. Copying behavior without comprehension is shallow. True learning involves observing, questioning, reflecting, and integrating lessons into your own approach. This is how you turn others' experience into your own wisdom. Storytelling is a common way people share lessons. Pay attention to the stories mentors, peers, and role models tell. Stories often contain principles, strategies, and warnings in memorable forms. Analyzing stories for lessons helps you understand context, recognize patterns, and apply insights more effectively. Collaboration is another avenue for learning. Working on projects with others exposes you to different skills, techniques, and perspectives. Collaboration forces you to communicate, negotiate, and solve problems creatively. Through collaboration, knowledge spreads, and your understanding deepens. Learning from failure is part of observing others. Successful people often share their setbacks as lessons. Analyze what went wrong, how they recovered, and what strategies they used to succeed afterward. Understanding failure prevents you from repeating the same mistakes and equips you with resilient strategies for your own challenges. Mentorship does not always have to be formal. Even casual conversations, social media interactions, or following blogs and podcasts can provide mentorship. The key is to be intentional, curious, and reflective. Treat every interaction as a chance to learn something valuable. Finally, learning from others accelerates growth in ways self-study alone cannot achieve. Knowledge, experience, perspective, and guidance combine to create a powerful engine for improvement. Those who actively seek out mentors, learn from peers, and study role models gain an edge that is difficult to replicate through solitary effort. When you make learning from others a daily habit, you tap into a vast pool of wisdom. You gain insights, avoid unnecessary mistakes, and find inspiration for your own growth. Combined with reflection, goal-setting, curiosity, reading, and consistency, learning from others positions you far ahead of the majority, equipping you with the skills and mindset to succeed in any endeavor. Chapter 12: Embracing Challenges, Growth Through Difficulty. One of the most overlooked secrets of people who consistently educate themselves and stay ahead is their relationship with challenges. While most people avoid discomfort, setbacks, or obstacles, those who grow relentlessly understand that challenges are not barriers, they are opportunities. Learning to embrace difficulty is a key habit that separates average learners from extraordinary ones. Challenges force you to adapt. When you encounter a problem, your mind must think critically, evaluate options, and find solutions. This process develops problem-solving skills, mental agility, and resilience. Avoiding challenges leaves your skills stagnant, while facing them strengthens your abilities. Every challenge becomes a lesson, every obstacle a teacher. Failure is an inevitable part of challenges. It is natural to fear failure, but avoiding it limits growth. Those who succeed understand that failure is temporary and instructive. Each mistake carries a lesson, a step closer to understanding, a chance to improve, and an opportunity to test perseverance. Viewing failure as a learning experience transforms fear into motivation. Challenges also expand your comfort zone. Growth occurs outside the zone of familiarity. When you push yourself to do things that feel difficult or unfamiliar, you develop new skills and confidence. Each challenge conquered increases your capacity to handle the next one. The more you embrace challenges, the more capable and adaptable you become. Learning from challenges requires reflection. After facing a difficult situation, pause to analyze what happened. What strategies worked? What could have been done differently? How did your emotions affect your decision? Reflection turns raw experiences into actionable knowledge, making future challenges easier to navigate. Challenges teach patience and persistence. Success rarely comes instantly. Complex problems, New skills or personal growth take time and repeated effort. By embracing challenges, you develop the ability to persist, stay motivated, and continue learning even when progress seems slow. Patience becomes a mental strength that fuels long-term achievement. Facing challenges also enhances problem-solving creativity. When easy solutions are not available, you must think innovatively. You learn to explore alternatives, test hypotheses, and improvise. These creative problem-solving skills transfer to all areas of life, from academics to work to personal relationships. Challenges stretch your mind and teach flexibility. Another benefit of embracing challenges is increased confidence. Each obstacle you overcome reinforces the belief that you can handle difficult situations. Confidence grows incrementally as you face increasingly demanding tasks. Over time, this self-assurance empowers you to take on even more ambitious goals and challenges, creating a cycle of continuous growth. Challenges also strengthen emotional intelligence. Difficult situations often trigger stress, frustration, or disappointment. By navigating these emotions thoughtfully, you develop emotional regulation and self-awareness. You learn to respond rather than react, make better decisions under pressure, and maintain composure in challenging environments. Accountability plays a role in handling challenges. Sharing your goals and obstacles with mentors, peers, or trusted friends provides support and guidance. Others can offer advice, encouragement, or perspective when you face difficulties. Collaboration does not diminish independence. It accelerates learning by providing insight you might miss on your own. Resilience is a key trait developed through challenges. Life will not always be smooth, and setbacks are inevitable. Those who consistently educate themselves understand that resilience is more valuable than immediate success. Resilience is built by confronting difficulties, learning from them, and continuing forward despite setbacks. Challenges also foster self-discipline. You must stay focused, organize your efforts, and prioritize actions when faced with difficulties. Discipline is honed through repetition and commitment, especially in situations that are uncomfortable or demanding. Daily challenges, big or small, train your mind to stay disciplined, which reinforces other habits of effective learners. Facing challenges encourages resourcefulness. When the easy path is blocked, you learn to utilize available resources creatively. You explore alternatives, gather information, and leverage connections to overcome obstacles. Resourcefulness is a skill that allows you to adapt to unexpected situations and thrive even in uncertainty. Reflection after challenges also helps develop humility. Difficult experiences remind you that you do not know everything and that growth is continuous. Embracing challenges keeps you grounded, teaches patience, and fosters a mindset that values learning over ego. Humility enhances your ability to accept feedback, seek guidance, and continue improving. Consistency and persistence are strengthened through challenges. Confronting difficulty daily or regularly, rather than avoiding it, trains you to keep going even when the path is tough. Each challenge becomes a step in the habit of persistent, deliberate action, essential for staying ahead of the majority who often quit when faced with obstacles. Finally, embracing challenges transforms your mindset. Instead of fearing discomfort or difficulty, you begin to see opportunities for growth everywhere. Challenges become stepping stones rather than roadblocks, lessons rather than punishments. With this mindset, daily education becomes more effective because you are open to learning from every experience, success or setback. When you combine reflection, curiosity, reading, consistency, goal setting, learning from others, and embracing challenges, you create a powerful system for self-education. Challenges are no longer feared, they are welcomed as catalysts for growth. Those who embrace them develop skills, resilience, and wisdom far beyond the majority, ensuring they stay ahead in life, learning and success. Chapter 13, Reflection. Turning experience into knowledge. Learning is not just about absorbing information. It's also about processing and understanding what you experience. Reflection is the bridge between knowledge and wisdom. It is the habit of pausing, thinking critically about what you have learned or experienced, and identifying lessons that can guide future action. Those who reflect regularly are able to extract far more value from every day than those who do not. Reflection begins with simple questions. After reading a book, listening to a lecture, or completing a task, ask yourself, what did I learn? What worked well? And what could I have done better? How does this knowledge apply to my life? By asking questions, you turn ordinary experiences into powerful learning opportunities. Daily reflection reinforces memory. Reviewing what you have learned shortly after the experience strengthens retention. Your brain organizes information, connects ideas, and integrates lessons into your understanding. Without reflection, even hours of study or practice can fade quickly. Reflection solidifies knowledge, making it practical and usable. Journaling is one of the most effective tools for reflection. Writing down what you learned, how you felt, and what you observed encourages deeper thinking. It creates a record of growth that you can revisit, track, and analyze. Over time, your journal becomes a personal library of insights, challenges, and lessons learned. Reflection also builds self-awareness. By examining your actions, thoughts, and decisions, you gain a clearer understanding of your strengths, weaknesses, values, and habits. Self-awareness is crucial for personal growth because it allows you to make informed choices, recognize patterns, and adjust behaviors that hinder progress. Reflecting on failures is especially important. When you fail, it is easy to feel discouraged or blame external factors. Reflection shifts your focus from emotion to learning. Ask, what caused this outcome? What could I have done differently? How can I apply this lesson going forward? Reflection turns failure into a tool for improvement rather than a source of frustration. Reflection strengthens decision-making skills. By reviewing past choices, analyzing results, and considering alternatives, you develop a mental framework for better decisions in the future. This habit reduces impulsivity and increases the likelihood of positive outcomes. You begin to anticipate challenges, evaluate options carefully, and act with confidence. Another benefit of reflection is perspective. It allows you to step back from immediate experiences and see the bigger picture. You notice patterns, identify long-term consequences, and understand how daily actions accumulate over time. This perspective helps you prioritize efforts, focus on what matters, and avoid distractions that do not contribute to growth. Reflection encourages gratitude and mindfulness. By pausing to consider what you have learned, how you have grown, and the opportunities you have, you cultivate a sense of appreciation. Mindfulness enhances focus, reduces stress, and increases the quality of learning because you are fully present in the moment. Peer reflection is also valuable. Discussing your experiences, challenges, and lessons with peers or mentors allows you to gain insights you might have missed. Others can offer different perspectives, challenge assumptions, and provide guidance. Collaborative reflection multiplies the benefits of individual reflection, making learning more comprehensive. Reflection should be intentional. It is easy to think you are reflecting simply by thinking passively, but deliberate reflection involves focused thought. Set aside dedicated time each day to consider what you learned, what challenges you faced, and what actions you will take next. This intentional habit transforms ordinary experiences into structured education. Reflection encourages adaptability. By analyzing outcomes and strategies, you become more flexible in your approach. You learn to adjust methods, pivot when necessary, and apply lessons to new situations. This adaptability is essential in a rapidly changing world where static knowledge and rigid habits are insufficient. Moreover, reflection strengthens motivation. Recognizing progress, even small steps, reinforces your commitment to learning. By seeing how far you have come and what you have accomplished, you generate the energy to continue, even when growth feels slow or challenging. Reflection reminds you that effort pays off. The habit of reflection also enhances creativity. By reviewing experiences, connecting ideas, and exploring alternative solutions, your mind becomes more inventive. You notice relationships between concepts, generate innovative approaches, and discover insights that are not immediately obvious. Reflection transforms ordinary thinking into creative problem-solving. Consistency in reflection is as important as consistency in learning itself. Daily reflection compounds over time. Weeks, months, and years of deliberate reflection create a depth of understanding that is rare among learners. Those who make reflection a habit gain insight that is both practical and transformative. Finally, reflection turns education into wisdom. Absorbing information is only the first step. Applying it, integrating it into decisions, and learning from experiences is what produces meaningful growth. By reflecting daily, you transform knowledge into actionable strategies and ordinary experiences into extraordinary lessons. When you cultivate the habit of reflection, you ensure that every experience, success and failure contributes to your growth. Combined with reading, curiosity, goal setting, consistency, learning from others, and embracing challenges, reflection makes your daily learning intentional, strategic, and powerful. Those who reflect consistently stay ahead, grow faster, and make smarter decisions than the majority of people who drift through life without purpose. Chapter 14. Time Management. Making every minute count. One of the most critical skills for staying ahead in life is managing your time effectively. Time is the only resource that is equally distributed to everyone, yet how we use it determines our success. To educate yourself daily and stay ahead of 99% of people, you must treat time as a valuable asset, not something to waste. Time management begins with awareness. Most people spend their days reacting to events rather than proactively directing their actions. To gain control, start by observing how you spend your time. Track your daily activities and notice where your energy and focus go. Awareness is the first step toward change. Prioritization is essential. Not every task is equally important. Some activities contribute directly to growth and goals, while others are distractions or low-value tasks. Learn to distinguish between urgent and important tasks. Focus on high-impact activities first, ensuring that your effort aligns with your long-term objectives. Planning is another key aspect. Successful learners and achievers often plan their days, weeks, and months ahead. A clear plan reduces wasted time, minimizes indecision, and ensures that essential tasks receive attention. Daily and weekly planning allows you to allocate your energy efficiently, turning intentions into actions. Time management also requires eliminating distractions. In today's world, interruptions come from notifications, social media, and constant information streams. Protect your focused learning periods by creating distraction-free environments. Silence your phone, close unnecessary tabs, and set boundaries with others when needed. Concentrated time yields far greater results than fragmented effort. The concept of time blocking is powerful. Dedicate specific periods to learning, reading, skill practice, reflection, or other growth activities. Treat these blocks as non-negotiable appointments. This method not only ensures consistent effort, but also trains your brain to focus intensely during each block. Consistency is intertwined with time management. Allocating even small, regular time segments to learning or growth tasks produces compounding results over time. A single focused hour daily may seem small, but over weeks and months, it accumulates into mastery and expertise. Time management ensures that small daily efforts are effective and sustainable. Deadlines, even self-imposed ones, create urgency and motivation. Without a sense of time pressure, tasks may drag and learning may stagnate. By setting clear deadlines for your goals or projects, you create accountability and a natural drive to complete tasks efficiently. Deadlines sharpen focus and enhance productivity. Time management also involves delegation and efficiency. Not every task requires your attention. Learn to delegate low-value or repetitive activities when possible, freeing time for learning and growth. Streamline your routines to minimize wasted effort and maximize productive moments. Efficiency is not about rushing. It is about doing what matters with intentionality. Breaks and rest are equally important. Working without pause leads to burnout, poor retention, and diminished focus. Short, regular breaks improve attention, creativity, and mental clarity. Time management is not about constant activity. It is about balancing focused effort with recovery to sustain long-term performance. Goal setting strengthens time management. When you know exactly what you want to achieve, you can allocate time accordingly. Clear goals act as a filter, helping you decide what deserves your attention and what is a distraction. Without goals, time can be spent aimlessly, leaving you behind those who plan and act deliberately. The ability to say no is critical. Opportunities, requests, and distractions constantly compete for your time. To manage time effectively, you must decline activities that do not align with your priorities. Saying no is not selfish. It is an essential skill for protecting your growth and focus. Time management also involves reflection. At the end of each day or week, review how you spent your time. Ask, did my actions align with my goals? Did I use my hours effectively? What could I improve tomorrow? Reflection ensures that time management evolves and improves with practice. Technology can be both a tool and a trap. Use apps, calendars, reminders, and tracking tools to organize your time, but avoid over-reliance on devices that encourage distraction. Intentional use of technology enhances focus and efficiency, while mindless scrolling wastes time and energy. Learning to manage time effectively builds discipline. Sticking to schedules, prioritizing tasks, and resisting distractions strengthens self-control. Discipline is essential for consistent growth, ensuring that each day contributes meaningfully to your education and personal development. Time management also amplifies opportunities. People who can make the most of their hours consistently accomplish more, learn faster, and achieve greater results. Those who squander time often fall behind, not due to lack of talent, but due to inefficient use of their most valuable resource. Finally, view time as your most precious currency. Once a moment passes, you cannot reclaim it. Every minute is an opportunity to learn, grow, or move closer to your goals. By managing time effectively, you make sure that your actions are aligned with your ambitions, turning daily effort into long-term success. When you combine time management with reflection, curiosity, consistency, reading, learning from others, embracing challenges, and goal setting, you create a life where every day counts. You maximize learning, productivity, and growth, ensuring you stay ahead of the majority who allow time to slip away unnoticed. Those who master time not only educate themselves, they shape the life they want intentionally and relentlessly. Chapter 15: Continuous Growth. Never stop learning. The most successful people in the world share one trait in common. They never stop learning. Education is not confined to school, college, or training programs. It is a lifelong pursuit. Continuous growth ensures that you remain ahead of the majority, adapt to change, and seize opportunities that others overlook. Those who stop learning fall behind, while those who embrace daily growth build a life of mastery and success. Continuous growth starts with mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that intelligence, skill, and ability are not fixed. They can be developed through effort, practice, and learning. People with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and success as a result of perseverance. This mindset drives daily learning and keeps you moving forward, even when progress is slow or difficult. Habits are the foundation of continuous growth. Daily routines, consistent reading, reflection, goal setting, and skill development compound over time. Small, repeated actions accumulate into significant achievements. Continuous growth is not about occasional bursts of effort. It is about steady, deliberate, and persistent action every single day. Learning from mistakes is an essential part of growth. Everyone experiences setbacks, but what matters is how you respond. Do you blame circumstances, or do you analyze, adjust, and try again? Those who grow continuously treat mistakes as feedback, refining strategies and improving performance. Failure becomes a stepping stone rather than a barrier. Curiosity fuels growth. When you remain curious about the world, you constantly seek new knowledge, ideas, and experiences. Curiosity drives exploration, experimentation, and creativity. It prevents stagnation and ensures that learning is not limited to familiar topics or comfortable zones. Those who remain curious stay ahead because they never settle for what they already know. Reflection strengthens continuous growth. By pausing to evaluate progress, identify lessons, and adjust strategies, you ensure that learning is effective and purposeful. Reflection turns experience into knowledge, knowledge into skill, and skill into wisdom. Daily reflection transforms ordinary activities into deliberate steps toward mastery. Learning from others accelerates growth. Mentors, peers, and role models provide guidance, perspective, and shortcuts to wisdom. By observing their experiences, asking questions, and applying lessons, you can advance faster than relying solely on trial and error. Surround yourself with those who inspire and challenge you, and growth becomes inevitable. Reading and research expand the boundaries of your understanding. Books, articles, studies, and expert opinions introduce new ideas, methodologies, and viewpoints. Diverse reading prevents narrow thinking, sparks creativity, and equips you with knowledge applicable to multiple areas of life. Those who read daily continuously refine their minds and skills. Embracing challenges is another pillar of growth. Difficulties force you to stretch, adapt, and find solutions. Each challenge conquered builds resilience, problem-solving ability, and confidence. Avoiding challenges limits growth, but facing them head-on ensures that every obstacle contributes to your development. Growth thrives in discomfort, not comfort. Time management amplifies the impact of daily learning. Efficiently allocating hours to reading, practicing, reflecting, and skill building ensures that effort translates into results. Those who manage their time wisely turn each day into a powerful opportunity for growth, staying ahead of those who drift aimlessly. Continuous growth requires adaptability. The world changes rapidly, and knowledge becomes outdated if not refreshed. Lifelong learners adjust to new technologies, trends, and challenges. Adaptability allows you to remain relevant, seize opportunities, and make informed decisions even in uncertain circumstances. Discipline sustains growth. Motivation fluctuates, but discipline keeps you committed to learning and improvement. Daily effort, regardless of mood or external conditions, builds consistency. Discipline is the engine that converts intention into action and action into results. Growth also includes emotional development, understanding and regulating emotions, improving communication, and cultivating empathy enhance personal and professional relationships. Emotional intelligence is a form of knowledge that complements technical skills, making growth holistic and sustainable. Technology can be a tool for growth. Online courses, podcasts, webinars, and educational apps make learning accessible anytime, anywhere. Leveraging technology intentionally allows you to stay updated, acquire new skills, and explore areas of interest efficiently. However, technology should supplement deliberate effort, not replace focus and reflection. Goal setting provides direction for continuous growth. Clear, specific, and challenging goals guide learning efforts, ensuring that every action contributes to meaningful progress. Goals create motivation, track progress, and help measure the impact of your efforts over time. Those who grow continuously set, pursue, and revise goals strategically. Persistence is key. Growth is rarely linear. It involves setbacks, distractions, and plateaus. Persistence ensures that you continue learning despite obstacles. Those who persist gain mastery, while those who quit early remain stagnant. Long-term growth is the result of small, sustained actions over years, not occasional bursts of effort. Finally, continuous growth is a mindset and a lifestyle. It means treating every experience as a lesson, every day as an opportunity, and every interaction as a source of learning. Those who commit to lifelong education develop skills, wisdom, and perspectives that keep them ahead of the majority. Growth becomes automatic, inevitable, and unstoppable. By combining curiosity, reflection, reading, learning from others, embracing challenges, managing time, setting goals, practicing discipline, and persisting through setbacks, you create a life of constant improvement. Daily education becomes a habit, not a task, and progress compounds over time. Those who never stop learning do not just stay ahead, they define the path for others to follow. When you adopt the mindset of continuous growth, you transform your life. You move from passive existence to active learning, from reaction to strategy, and from average to exceptional. Educating yourself every day is not just about acquiring knowledge, it is about shaping the person you become, the life you lead, and the impact you have on the world.